I get no rest. I can't sleep. Heart of a champion. I can't be.
Welcome, everybody, to Rhymes That Resonate, the podcast where we explore the soundtracks that accompany extraordinary people's lives. Today, I have on the show a friend of the show, Lamarco Smith.
Hey,
Lamarco is an international recording artist with collaborations and contributions to the fashion world, visual storytelling, also a multifaceted entrepreneur. He's toured the world showcasing his musical talents, and he's preparing to drop his fourth album, Quiet Time, produced by previous guest and our good friend Ego. In fact, you just finished a tour and you're recording a gospel album. So, Lamarco, welcome. Thank you for being here. Please tell the people about yourself.
yo, thank you. Thank you for having me. Nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm Lamarco from Los Angeles by way of, or in New York now by way of Los Angeles. I'm a singer, songwriter, entrepreneur, like you said, a fashion stylist, um, photographer, videographer. I just love
Mm,
anything creative. I'm also a massage therapist, so I love healing anything that's, a transaction of energy
mm.
um, for the better. I'm down for it. And if it makes you some money, child, then I'm definitely down for it. You know what I'm
Fair,
saying?
fair.
That's me, just a regular guy trying to kill time efficiently, as I always say, just killing time.
Wonderful. Well, Lamarco, I think it's really important to call out that you're the first guest who's written all of the songs that we're going to be talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and I have to ask, if you were to put a percentage on how much you actually write, um, how much of your own material do you write, or do you have like a team or whatnot?
Musically or lyrically, I write about, I would say 98% of the things that I've released, I've written. And then there's been a couple collaborative efforts that I was just like, either I have to have that song or it was for like a soundtrack or something like that. But
Mm.
other than that, uh, I have a lot to say. So I try to, you know, and put that into the world.
That's great, right? And I appreciate something you said earlier, which is the
Yeah, yeah.
exchange of energy.
hmm
Tell me a little bit about what that means to you.
It's just music is such a powerful tool. Just specifically talking about music. Music is such a powerful tool, and just seeing the impact when it is done right, when it's done thoughtfully, um, when people really receive that the
Mm,
the power and the energy that is in a room, especially when I'm on stage and I'm the one who's leading the energy. Um, it's just that exchange from the audience and the energy, I mean, to the artist. And even when I'm doing massage or whatever, and there's a certain muscle that has been aching and suddenly it's not anymore. There's just, but I also care. There's
mhm,
that energy of my compassion as well as just, you know what I mean? As well as the art form and the technique itself, or just the singing itself or the runs or whatever. But behind that, there's a passion for what I'm saying. And hopefully that's felt for as long as I'm able to do this.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm, like, almost as if, you're a conduit or a vessel of
Well,
the
that's
energy.
yeah. I just say I'm just a piece of body right here.
Yeah, and, that's I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Good, you good?
I was really excited, and I am really excited to have this conversation because you know, we've been adjacent for years, right?
Yeah.
Through Ego and just through our musical endeavors,
Mhm.
we've always kind of run parallel in this that I knew about you, years ago, right? Back in my Sacramento days, which were like early 2000s and 2010s. And you've since toured the world, doing your music, and when you bring in that energetic aspect of it, is there a lot of pressure being on stage and doing it for so long, of like maintaining and keeping that energy up, and just, or is it just you?
That's a good question. I think for the way I'm known to perform, there's an expectation a lot for me to just go off, and sometimes I'll make it known it's not necessary.
Mhm,
Sometimes I'll just keep the song here, like smooth it over,
mhm,
smooth it over. It doesn't really get much higher than that. You know what I
mhm,
mean? just because I want to show that there are layers to performance, and I just try to be the performer that I want to see on stage. And
Mhm.
since I can't watch myself as me or whatever, I have to be what I want to see, and I've seen so many great influences of what I want to see, you know.
Mhm.
And so now I try to put all of those um contributions that these artists have given me, whether it be performance or songwriting styles or fashion or whatever it may be, I just try to now mesh that into one melting pot of this artist called Lamarco.
Mhm.
Luckily, I enjoy doing it, so it doesn't really ever feel like a pressure. Because when
Mhm.
I don't want to do something, I will not do it. Everybody who really knows me knows I'm not gonna do it. So if it doesn't feel right, then it's gonna come out different, to make sure that I can really deliver
Mhm.
what it is that needs to be done. So sometimes I'm tired and I still got Marco 5 minutes, and I'm like, oh my god. Okay, okay. I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Then I remember nobody cares that I'm tired. And I remember
Mm.
nobody cares that I haven't eaten yet. They just know that it's 7:30 and the show starts in 5 minutes. So the lights are going down and I hear it, I can feel it all. So that's all a part of that energy too. I can feel it backstage. I'm like, I could tell everybody, like, oh, wait, guys, you get 10 more minutes. Gotta go take a nap real quick. Or gotta go pee
Mm.
real quick 'cause I gotta pee again. But I just something clicks, and then you're like, you're that vessel again. And now
Mhm.
it's not about me anymore. And then that's where the adrenaline kicks in. I've had shows where I had a broken ankle and shouldn't even been on stage, but the commitment I made, I couldn't break. So I had to maybe sit on a stool or whatever, but like getting there and then even being able to impact while sitting down or while
Mm.
I'm hurting. But they're like, oh, yes, that's my song, or I love the way you did that. You
Mhm.
know, this is what I feel like if more humans could pay attention to these kinds of transactions of energy and just be nice and kind and genuine, like really care,
Mhm. Mhm.
there's so much going on to care about everything and everybody. I understand that, but like for a moment, I love music because when I do get to perform, it's just let's focus right now on this. The beat. Everybody hears that same beat. You might
Mhm.
feel it differently, but you hear it, you know. And so, if that's the same way we had that attention about the beat, I who has the microphone has to be just as attentive to what I'm
Mhm.
doing. Giving out that energy. Hopefully that
Uh,
made sense. I feel like I kinda went on a tangent, but
no, I mean, that's what I gather from that, which I appreciate you, kind of giving some insight for those of us who haven't, for one, some people have a public speaking, right?
mm,
So to be able to go onto a stage and deliver anything is
mm,
something that a lot of people can't even fathom. And then to do it when the chips are down, hungry, you've got other things going on, you got a broken ankle. I think it really lends to your first song, right? Grown
mm,
Man
yeah,
by Lamarco Smith. Um, it I mean, I definitely wanna hear you talk about the song and,
mm,
what inspires it, but, in relation to what you just said, regardless of everything else, you still made obligations, you still have something to do, and you're gonna take care of that, and you have
mm,
enough confidence in yourself to go and do that.
yeah.
So, tell us all about Grown Man, and why you wrote it, and what is the message you want folks to walk away with when listening?
Bet. Come on, you better interview first of all. So I Grown Man was produced by Ego, and it is going to be one of the featured songs on the first installment of Quiet Time. So Quiet Time was originally going to be a 22 song album, just straight down,
Mhm,
and it's already recorded, but like there's some engineering things that we just still want to hear. And we've been prolonging it forever and ever. So we figured we would break it down into like four installments. So
mhm,
like 4 EPs would equal that, be equivalent to that 22 songs eventually.
mhm,
And Grown Man was one of those songs. And Grown Man actually stemmed from another song called Note to Self, which
mhm,
is just this ethereal ballad. Younger self, here I am, just to heal you, letting
mhm,
go of all the pain that almost killed you. Um, Give it time, you will find it will work out. Something, 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 something. Give your love out. I actually don't even know all the words yet because literally we just been writing and like
mhm.
just turn on the beat or like he said, I think he showed me like boom, gong gong, gong 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 gong. It's the bass line,
Hey.
note to self. So in this ethereal song, there was doom, gung gung, but the rest of it is, and so you won't even. But we were like, hold on, solo that real quick, solo that bass line, ego. Oh, wait a minute, and then
Mhm,
turned to like East Coast, and then he was like, you know what, we need to bring that back home to West Coast.
mhm.
And then we got that Sack Town knock on it, and then I just started coming up with a little flow, abracadabra, do, because I didn't know what to say, right?
Mhm.
But then I was like, wait, what am I talking about? He was like, just talk your ish, man. Like we've been doing this for, we've
That
been doing
sounds
this.
like that sounds
You
like
get
ego.
scared, right? Talk your mess, man, and like, you've been humble for a really long time, and I think you can say what you need to say while still being, respectful and mindful or whatever, but also not dimming yourself down anymore. And so
Mhm,
that's where abracadabra do. I'm really kind of glad I didn't blow up so soon. I've been
mhm,
years. I know the truth. They celebrate, then they want to see you lose,
mhm.
And then from right there, it just kept coming, any, mini, money, mo, and I couldn't think of anything. So I was like, you know what? 916-510. Tell me when to go. That's the area codes for Oakland and Sacktown. So just paying homage to these places that made me. This is me on my shirt, and
Mhm,
I can
mhm.
remember being this kid with these pencils or whatever I could find, the Febreze bottle, anything that I could know what it felt like to control this atmosphere and emote. And yeah, grown man is just that. And then it is a ode to my spirituality,
Mhm,
and I grew up in the church, and I couldn't be remiss of mentioning that publicly. And like, I always kind of do it subliminally, I guess, if you would say, and that's just more industry things and just people digesting things. I don't want to be too preachy, but obviously, what's real to me is what's real to me, and so I had
mhm,
to make sure that I stand strong in my conviction, at least on record. So now it's imprinted, it's now recorded, it's going to be mass duplicated,
mhm,
and so I just wanted to have all these things down. I've been doing this for a long time now, since I was a kid, singing backup for people. Then I was able to start doing my own things, and then doing college and all this other stuff. And so I just felt like it almost feels like I could retire almost, even though I know I
mm.
haven't gotten to the pinnacle of what I could do and could be. I've literally done everything that I said I wanted to do,
Wow.
besides like winning an award or whatever. But then I just realized how trivial that really is, in actuality, because there's so many great pieces of art that don't get recognized, and I'm listening to them all the time. So I don't ever want to put too much weight into these kinds of things anymore. And so Grown Man is an ode to also maturing, and my perception of what I wanted has changed and why I got into this business has changed. And you could still with something of substance, and that doesn't have
Mhm.
to feel preachy. It doesn't have to be like, here we go. But also, okay, I'm right. That's basically what I'm right,
Mhm,
you know. And then watching all this stuff with this industry coming in and imploding on itself right before our eyes. Every single day there's a new scandal, a new thing. And I'm just like, oh my God, I've been so close to all of these things.
mm,
Party, or was running late to that session, or couldn't talk on the phone to that person at that one time, or
mhm.
just all these things are like, ooh, dodge the bullet, dodge the bullet, dodge the bullet, but still was able to find my path and do pretty grand things as an independent artist all on my own accord, and how I wanted to be represented. And when I did allow myself to be managed or whatever, it was still what I wanted, how I wanted to, what was conducive to my brand and what I wanted,
Right,
And
right.
just coming into that artistry of being realized that I just haven't seen too many happy celebrities.
Hmm.
And so they always say, like, watch what you ask for and be careful for be mindful of who your heroes are. And I'm just like, it's different to have a lot of money and be economically secure, which is what we all want, right? But what comes with that is people in your business every day. And I've had moments where I've been on tour and I couldn't eat because people are like, "Oh my god," and I'm like, "You don't even know me like that." Like, nah, nah, nah. Thinking
Yeah.
like, "Oh, whoa, that's crazy that somebody's taking a photo of you." Or all these other things, which
Mm.
can be exciting to some people, but we see how it could also be on the other end of those things when it gets crazy. And I'm just grateful now that I'm at this age, um, in my mid 30s, that I can now say that if I do have this opportunity on a mainstream scale, I think I'm mentally and spiritually and you know mature for all these things now, and so that's what grown man is
Yeah.
about in
You
a
know,
nutshell.
and well, yeah, no, I think that we got to crack open that nutshell, right? Because well, I heard a lot of very impactful stuff, especially for those young artists, and I was one of them, right? That I wanted at a time where I wouldn't have been able to handle it, and I probably would have been easily manipulated
Mm,
because not being mentally mature enough, right? Not being emotionally mature enough, not being spiritually secure enough. And so, like when you say something like, "Oh, I dodged a bullet," or in the song specifically, you say, I'm glad, I didn't make it as big. I didn't blow up, earlier."
mhm.
And then you say, um, they celebrate you, then they want to see you lose, right? Like that's a tough thing to really come to grips with, especially if you're not secure in who you are and yourself, and understanding people that like you're just a thing to them if you're in that space,
We're
right?
pawns. This is a business, and
Mhm,
I think I made my own path. Whether I've had thousands of listeners a month, and then I went down to 2 listeners a month, and then back up, and I just watch it, and I just sit there, and I'm like, you know what will be, but what
mhm,
will be is that I'm putting out quality things. So when I may not even here anymore, and these numbers don't mean anything, somebody will still some little alien or whatever it happens when I'm gone will be popping like, "Oh my god, abracadabra, do. I'm really kind of glad I didn't go so soon. Hey, they've been any because you're gonna know in whatever stage of life, these things are just a part of growing up.
mhm,
And and I'm just a man. And I was mentioning to you off camera like about this Hannah Montana mentality that I kind of literally live with, going from touring and then like having security or whatever, and
mhm,
then back home and I gotta get $15 eggs because there's an economic surge,
mhm,
and I gotta do my own laundry and I'm just a man and my dogs need to get walked and
mhm,
all the things, all the things, all the things. And so it's just an ode to being human and being okay with that and understanding that I don't control none of this. Therefore, since I don't control any of it, because if I did, most things that happen to me would not happen. But since I don't control it, I'm okay now that I know. All right, cool. So whoever is my player, please do your best. Put your best
mhm.
foot forward. Pay attention to the road. Okay, amen.
Yeah.
And let's get it done.
No, those are really profound, and I think that, I look back at, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Where you start at just like or safety, right? Like, excuse me, it's not safety, it's food, clothing, shelter, like basic needs. And then you go up through safety, you go up through like, not all these, but a couple different stages until you get to self actualization, where you realize who you are and you're living who you should be,
Mhm.
right? And
Good.
and and part of that is your faith and your calling from God, right?
Mhm.
That aligns with your faith. That like all of that is just part of it, right? And so I appreciate the fact that it's not subliminal, right? You are very clearly putting it on tape, putting it on record that you are a man of faith. Um, the gospel inspiration in your music are obvious to anybody who's ever listened to gospel. And so I appreciate the fact that like, you don't shy away from it because
Mhm.
that is you. And the best way we can show up as who we are is to bring all of ourselves to what we do. And so you do that. And, I just commend you for doing that. That's fearless. And,
Thank
I appreciate you. And I hope that those who are, come into contact with your music appreciate it as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course.
Bless.
And now with that being said, um, we're talking about life and life being, kind of messy. and mistakes being a part of it. And I think it leads right into your song, "Smooth It Over."
Mhm,
Um, and "Smooth It Over" is like you said, there's levels to the way you present, that energy you bring, and
mhm.
"Smooth It Over" is, complete opposite of the spectrum
Yeah,
from a grown man.
yeah.
And I love the song.
Thank you.
Um, what was the moment or incident that inspired you to write the song?
I was having a conversation with a friend who was struggling, and I was just trying to say, "It's okay. It's not that deep." I I was like, "I can talk about what I go through, and I don't have to really turn the situation back to me. Just know it's not that deep. Whatever it is, unless you're killing people and hiding bodies under your room, then we definitely need to talk, you know? But if it's just something that you're struggling with, you need to either fix it and give yourself some grace or
Mm,
understand that this is what you're dealing with and try to maneuver, you know, but you can't be beating yourself up because who is about to check you? Like Sheree on Housewives says, "Who gonna check me, boo?" Which really means I have to be accountable for myself. And
mhm,
so smooth it over was basically saying, "All right, I like to do this a lot. Hello, hi.
mm,
So you know what you did, and you know
mhm.
how you feel right now. So
Right.
if you want to feel like that anymore,
Mhm.
you gotta stop doing it, you
Yeah.
know? And nobody else is you can boom, boom, boom all you want to, but it doesn't hit home until you can't stand yourself. You
Mm,
know what I'm saying?
I do.
And then you know what I'm saying? And so before you get to that point, it's okay not to be okay. But then I don't let people get away with it because I don't like to let myself get away with anything. So everybody needs a change sometimes. Everybody has things in their mind that only they understand, which
Mhm,
gives everybody grace because now you have all been freed from the responsibility to have the same thought processes and
mm,
things and feelings. Okay, we can just say, you're different, you're different, you're different, you're different. But we all know if I slap you, you're going to feel it unless you have no nerve endings. And somebody's going to tell you that you just slapped somebody and it hurt them, most likely. You know,
mhm,
we're all pretty much going to feel it. So we all know what to do and not to do.
mhm.
Now
Yeah.
that's where integrity comes in. Integrity means you're doing what needs to be done when nobody's watching you. And that is where I try to literally like do my best. I'm not perfect and I'm not even trying to be. I just try to do the best that I can. I'm human. I recognize I have hormones. I recognize I have um, anger. I recognize that I have all sorts of human things that, again, like I was mentioning earlier, I
Mhm,
didn't make these. So I don't know why I have these things, but I'm trying to do the best that I can with them and with understanding life and how much I don't control it because I didn't bring the sun up
mm.
and it's going down already and I still have things to do. So where are you going? But since you're going, it's now nighttime and I gotta still do those things at nighttime. So I'm just flowing and smooth it over is just going with the flow.
Yeah,
And
man. I appreciate that, and it's interesting. You said grace. I have grace written down here in the show notes, right? Because I think that's a very large theme. But another thing that I want to pull out, especially as a sobriety champion, right? Um, the the limerick or the phrase, the line, the bar that you just showcase about like everybody's going through something. We need a break. Whatnot. We need a break sometimes. Um, during that part of the visual, it really centers around an individual who's, drinking water instead of taking the libation, right? Um, and that stuck out to me, of course, right? Because again, like that's something that uh, was a struggle in my life, and that I'm continuing to be aware of, vigilant against. But what made you include that as the visual piece to focus on during that part of the song?
I think it's just a common thing. I figured like what is more universal than a good old turn up, you know? What is more universal than that? We all don't speak the same language, but we could all drink, you know? And
Mhm,
so, but what also can be so detrimental to everybody is that libation, you know, if
mhm,
not handled properly. And so that like it was stronger than just the drink itself and the imagery of this, but like something that you know, if not monitored carefully, it can go haywire. So he's there at the party. He's still kicking, and basically in 2020 during the pandemic, when they told us when they announced that we had to stay in our houses, I think it was like March 19th or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, I poured out all the alcohol in the freezer, in the cabinets, everything that I had. I had a roommate at the time, left everybody else's stuff, but for me, I need to know. I don't know what I'm about to be capable of and what
Mhm.
it's going to do to my brain being stuck and the whole world is falling apart and we can't really touch people and get in, and be around anyone. Like, I don't know what it's about to do. So I need to take any possible measure of protecting myself and my sanity because I know I'm bigger than this and I'm here. My job is not done just because the world is shutting down. If the world is
Mhm.
shutting down, that means everything is over. And if it's everything is not over, then I'm still here doing stuff. And so I need to clear head to do that. And who knows what 24 hours of just Netflix and just, I guess, well, so, I had to show that in this video
Mhm.
because that was me. A lot of those I've recently broken that. Like I just had a drink yesterday for my sister's birthday, but now I've done it consciously. It's been 5 years, and I
Mhm.
don't feel bad about it because it doesn't feel like, oh my god, I was doing so good. I was doing so good that I lasted 5 years being a singer, being people buying you shots and wanting to, yeah, oh, let's go to the champagne
Mhm.
thing where you're just here's a bottle as a thank you, da da da, just all the things, and here's thank you, here's the bottle that somebody gave me. Oh, here,
Mhm.
give everybody else the shots, and showing myself that I can make that change so swiftly. And I did it without anybody's accord, mind you. They told I was watching the news at home by myself. No, ma'am, no, thank you. I'm not going to do it.
Mhm.
Not today. I won't develop a habit in here in this room, you know
Wow.
And so, because now it's not going to be for what I'm using it for, which is to turn up. Because
Mhm.
now, because I'm bored. Now, because I'm depressed. Now, because I'm scared of if we're going to ever get out of here. Now, it's because of just so many other things.
Mhm.
And that's not what I need. And so that was also part of my knowledge. I'm really growing up because Lamarco in 2018. If that was a year behind and the pandemic was in 2019, I probably wouldn't be here because I was woo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. That's another bullet dodged.
what'd you say?
Another bullet dodged right there.
Yeah, another bullet dodged, and I knew I was capable because I don't really like the taste of alcohol, so it wasn't really a struggle for me. But I just
Mhm.
love to turn up, so I would let's go then, and just go
Mhm.
in, just to have fun to the next level. But I just wanted to show something that if it wasn't your thing, you could definitely resonate and just put
Mhm.
yourself in that thing. And
Yeah.
whatever your thing was, this is porn, this is alcohol, this is gambling, this is cheating, this is fraud. I don't know, whatever your
Yeah.
thing is
Yeah.
you're doing that nobody knows, chill out.
Yeah.
If you feel bad about it, it's called conviction. Don't do it no more.
Right.
If you
Right.
don't
No.
feel about it, you're okay, I guess.
A little bit of technical difficulties, but we're back.
No
Um,
business.
hey, that's it, right? And I was just complimenting on your choice of that visual representation. It is universal, and I think you did a great job of it. Obviously, your background in visual storytelling is is shining through in that. I just wanted to commend you on that choice.
Thanks.
Um, your third song that you chose is Africa, again written by you.
Mm.
Um, Lamarco, I listen to it, I hear the passion, I hear a desire for recognition, full acceptance within the American and world social structure. But what is the message that you're hoping folks walk away with?
I just see Black culture, whether it be Black American culture or whether it be African culture. It's I just see how influential we are and how picked apart we are.
Mhm,
You can take this piece, you can take that piece, you can take this piece, you can take that piece, but it's never quite Black, you know? And
mhm,
so I just wanted to pay tribute as a person who has been made to feel all sorts of types of ways for being Black. This was my tribute to Black people, to myself, to the only way I'm going to be.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like if you don't celebrate who you are, you can work out and gain weight and lose weight or whatever. You can have a new face. I will always be a black man. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's something that can't be worked on. It's just what I get, and I'm proud to have it. And so I wanted to, especially in this economy where they're trying to erase black from everything, as if we forgot. I keep saying keep the same energy you had in 2023 and
Mhm.
at 11:59 p.m. on December 31st, 2004. Keep that same energy. Don't let this new year and these new um new influences get it twisted and undo all the work we've done as a humanity,
Mhm.
to appreciate each other and just accept each other. And but if you don't want to acknowledge that, I'm gonna list the contributions in this song. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
You want it's not just it's more than just to sing and dance and have a basketball in your hand,
Mhm.
struggle. It's the mentality, it's the strength, it's the resilience, it's the wit, it's the spirit, it's the soul, it's the personality, it's the bodies, it's the everything, and I could just
Mhm.
go on. And it's not to put anybody down. I encourage everybody to do it, but I feel like everybody is already doing that in a certain way. And specifically, this song is for African Americans because it
Mhm.
says they take us from our land and try to take away our heritage. But one thing we understand is we actually know where it is. It's
Mm.
not bum bum ba da dum dum on my drum. It's in the music. It's in
Mhm.
the way the feet go. Every time I hear the 2 and 4 on the bongo,
Mhm.
some
Mhm.
African melodies. I was just listening to it, and the whole bass line is the talking drum,
Mhm.
which makes the sound of a resonant bass. And since I haven't ever been to Africa, and I don't actually know what tribe or what country in Africa, I'm from, it was the closest thing to like, all right, well, I just do know that all I need to do is hear that beat, and then suddenly,
Mhm.
comes on me.
There's a connection
There's
somewhere.
connection, yes, and I don't even need to see step foot. We can look at each other's eyes walking down the street. Yo, what's up? And it's just there.
Mhm.
It's just black. It's kismic, and yeah.
I listened to this song and I appreciate you raising it up and really doing what you can to celebrate it and make the connection because I don't think it's represented enough
Mhm.
that there's a big gap between African Americans and Africa. And take it for what it's worth, right? Because it almost feels at times throughout history African Americans are homeless, right? Not fully accepted in America and not
Yikes!
at all accepted in Africa, right? Because there is no connection, right? But American history and African American history are American history.
Mhm.
Um, and I think it's and I also feel that some of the ways we prop it up, it creates a wall, a division, right? And
Mhm.
when I say we, I mean the collective we, as Americans, right? When we have to call out things our Black history, it's because that history hasn't necessarily been given the due credence it deserves.
Hello.
But when
Hello.
you call it Black history, you inherently separate it from American history,
Right.
right? And so there's this like chicken and the egg negative feedback loop where if we if we can't see it as intertwined and all interconnected,
Mhm.
then we have to call it out. But if we call it out, we keep it separate. And it's
Yeah.
like, how do we actually win? Or how do we actually come to an agreement here that we all belong and we all support the same causes?
Right. And I personally am trying to be on both sides.
Mhm,
I'm universal, and everybody knows if you've listened to anything I've ever said, I want us all to get along.
mhm,
Shake your hand, you shake my hand. It's all good. It's all good. However, I do recognize that that's la la land because that is not actuality. So, since
mhm,
I'm living in a utopia that I've created in my mind of the faith that I have that you can be doing the work that I'm doing on myself to also not treat me like trash.
Mhm.
Um, in case you do, here's a song to let you know that I'm still very aware. Mind you, a lot of my fans are white, and a lot of the um, shows I've done are international with
Mhm.
all races and creeds and people who don't believe anything that I believe or know anything that I'm saying for that matter, but just love the energy or the beat or the music or the voice or whatever it may be, you know? But I see a lot of it, I see it appreciated everywhere. And the way
Mhm.
I do it, it's just black. I know I have unique things that I like to do or gimmicky, whatever, but I'm black. And
Mhm.
I always say, like, I know 1,000 other people who can go you can go to First AME Church, and you will get the same caliber of powerhouse vocalists and, maybe the performance aspects sets people apart or the likability factor or the branding factor, whatever it may be. But we have a thing, and the world recognizes it. And so
Mhm.
I'm just here to praise it and I said in a song in my next, if you're not the problem, this should never, ever, ever, never, ever bother you. Because if you want to be white and you want to say, yes, girl, I love my blonde hair,
Mhm.
darling. Or if you want to be Asian and you say, you know what, I love my eyes and I love our people, how you could just recognize us immediately by our features. And if you want to talk about yourself like that, please do. That's what this song is for. But when you start to say you can't come here and but you want to also put your hair in cornrows, then we got a problem.
Mm.
Yeah, can't sing here, but you wanna, no, 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 no. You guys, that's a whole different scale, whole different culture, whole different everything. But if you're gonna borrow and then push us out of everything, we're gonna
Mhm.
take back and let you know exactly where this came from. The rumpa bum of the,
You're either
you know.
you're either you're either full in or you're full out.
But but like black people, most black people, we're very supportive of everybody.
Yeah.
If you got some rhythm on, you be like, okay. Because we already know it's possessed, it's what we possess. So there's no need to feel some type of way about you being able to do it too. If anything, we're
Right.
like, okay, wow. So we are more alike than different. Because how you
Yeah.
get da, 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 and then I get da, 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 da. So if we all just da 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 da, that's my goal. But
Hey, let's dance together.
that's my goal. But
Hey, Lamarco, I appreciate you. I appreciate your willingness to come on the show and share
thank
your
you.
spirit of getting people together, dancing together, singing together, and just living this human existence experience
Yeah.
in a loving way. I appreciate your energy. Please tell the people where they can find you.
Lamarco Music. Yes. LMARCO Music. Um, yeah. You can follow me on Spotify, Lamarco, all those things. Lamarco Music at Gmail if you want to send me a little email. Um, Cash App. I forgot what Cash App is. I should know that too. But anyway. That's the first
Hey,
thing
well, hey, I appreciate you. And for anybody listening, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Rhymes That Resonate podcast on Instagram, Threads, TikTok. Follow us, support, and really share these
Yeah.
stories, share these artists, share these amazing people, and listen to some of the songs that we're showcasing here. I
Yeah.
thank you all for tuning in. I thank you, Lamarco, again for your grace as a member of this podcast family, and I can't wait to
Awesome.
connect with you again.
Awesome talking to you. Ciao.
Freedom. Tell me why they try to take my back. Against the boss, so I'll never fall. No way in hell you can take my back. Fall on my side, never lie on my back. Don't get on my shoulders, rely on my back. I get no rest. I can't sleep. Heart of a champion. I can't be beat. I get no rest. I can't sleep.